So is India ready for state-wise UCC, the Uniform Civil Code, to be implemented by BJP-ruled states? That's the promise made by Home Minister Amit Shah while he was speaking on the Constitution debate. The opposition says this will kill unity and diversity and that this will kill personal freedoms and personal laws. The question is, in a secular country, can you have multiple civil codes when you have one criminal code, one penal code? Joining us on the debate tonight, let me go straight across to our guests who are joining us. Tuhin Sinha is national spokesperson of the BJP. Tariq Khan, spokesperson of the Samajwadi Party. Aman Sinha, senior advocate of the Supreme Court, is also joining us. Tuhin Sinha, let me start with you first. The opponents of the UCC say that it fundamentally does not sit well with either Article 14, which is the article that guarantees equality before law, or for that matter, Article 25, which is the one that allows you to profess the faith of your choice. They say that personal laws, whether it is Muslim personal laws, Hindu personal laws, Christian personal laws, will all get steamrolled if the Uniform Civil Code were to be introduced. And the declaration made yesterday by the Home Minister that you will introduce it state-wise, much like Uttarakhand has done it. How can you have one uniform set of laws for BJP-ruled states and another set of laws for opposition-ruled states? If this has to happen, this has to be a national civil code.
Well, good evening, Zakka. Good evening, everybody. The UCC is an ideological commitment for us, much like the abrogation of Article 370 was, much like CAA was, and we are committed to go ahead with it. Now, every difficult or every complex issue involves a different approach, and here we have decided that because of the complexities involved, the states ruled by the BJP would be taking the lead, leading to paving the way for a consensus at the national level. Now, I don't understand how it contravenes Article 14 of the Constitution because in a way, it actually perpetuates inequality. Those who are opposed to UCC are essentially those who want polygamy to continue, who want child marriages to continue, and who don't want gender equality. We are, addressing all of these issues. In fact, as recently as on 19th October, the Supreme Court had rejected the central government's plea for, extending Prevention of Child Marriage Act to all communities. This disparity is what we want to end. And, as far as the modus operandi or as far as the operationalization of UCC is concerned, if Uttarakhand and Goa can execute it well enough, there is no reason why 10 other states, 12 other states ruled by the BJP would, making the Congress, giving an example to the Congress how it can be implemented at the national level.
So let me ask Tariq Khan. Tariq Khan, ultimately in this country, you have one penal code, you have one set of criminal laws. The punishment for murder, for example, is the same, whether the murderer happens to be Hindu, Muslim, Christian, whatever it is. So then how can you have multiple civil codes? The idea that this somehow, Tariq Khan, does not sit well with Article 14, which is equality before law. You can't have one marriageable age for Muslims, one marriageable age for Christians, one divorce laws for Hindus. I mean, it just does not sit well with Article 14.
The state of Uttarakhand complementing its own UCC. How? They have excluded tribals from UCC. So this is how you will do that. They'll be allowed polygamy. So if you want polygamy to be banned for Muslims only, have a separate law that it would be banned for only Muslims. Now, many tribals had been excluded in Uttarakhand, named as Jansor, Tharu, Raji, Buksa, and Bhotia. These are the tribals being excluded from UCC in Uttarakhand. Now, tribals believe that females will not be getting their share in the assets of the family. So the females of those families, though tribal, will not go those things. That means that if you're talking about UCC, how you will deal with Hindu undivided family? More than 8 lakh families every year got benefited, many benefit, tax benefit, in bank loan benefit, including that. More than 8 lakh families got benefit with Hindu undivided family. What you'll do with that? You'll spare, you'll block those benefits. It's all right. If you want to do that, please clarify what you will do with tribals as you have exempted in
No,
one
but Mr.
state.
Tariq
That
Khan,
means
nothing,
there
no
would
one
be
is
no
stopping. For
UCC.
example, Mr. Khan, 1 second. For example, if Uttar Pradesh
Zakka.
wants to, if Uttar Pradesh wants to do UCC, and if all parties come to a consensus that tribals should be kept out of the ambit of UCC, what's wrong with that?
So why you are talking about equality? Why you are talking about powers of women being they would be given means share of the family asset? Means what will do about that? And if you are talking about uniformity, it would be across the India and in a diversified countries where cultures tradition differ even every 10 kilometers and 20
Okay.
kilometers. How will bring in uniformity? Tell us the way. We'll be
Aman,
ready to talk on the
Aman
table.
Sinha, the
Yes,
argument that's
Zakka.
being made by the opposition is that, look, we are too diverse a country, languages change, cultures change, food habits change, dress codes change, practices change. Therefore, you cannot have a one size fits all uniform civil code.
Therefore, all the more reason for having a uniform civil code. And we must all understand, Zakka, you know it better than anybody else. Article 44 of the Constitution mandates that the state shall endeavor to secure for all its citizens uniform civil code. It is a part of the Constitution. Article 14 guarantees equality before law and equal protection of law. Article 15 prohibits discrimination of any kind on grounds of religion, caste, creed, sex, etc. Now, secularism is an integral part of preamble of the Constitution. Religion-specific personal laws are nowhere going to be, in consonance to this constitutional position. They are in absolute contravention and violation to the preamble of the Constitution, to Article 14, 15, and 44 clearly mandates that there has to be a uniform civil code. Now, UCC will not only uphold the secular character of the nation, it will foster unity and integrity of the country. It will prohibit discrimination, especially among women and children. And therefore, the Supreme Court on 11 occasions, Zakka, has upheld and actually stated, asked the union government on different occasions, that what steps have been taken to ensure implementation of the Uniform Civil Code, not in one but several matters, whether it was Shah Bano, whether it was the John Vallatum case in 2003 or Saroj Pandey case in 1995. But in none of those occasions, any government of that day, they made any steps, they took any steps towards implementation or enactment of the Uniform Civil Code.
Okay.
This is the first government under leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and very aptly stated by Home Minister Amit Shah yesterday on floor of the House that the time is ripe, the time is right, and we cannot delay it further. There has to be a Uniform Civil Code. One more thing, Zakka, that those who are waiving the Constitution would be better served if they read the articles of the Constitution instead of just simply waiving it, and that serves no purpose at all. And in fact, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar,
Sanket
in the
Yanagi,
Constituent
the
Assembly,
point
just
is...
one short point, Zakka, before I finish.
It's a truncated debate, sir, so I want to get others in as well, with your permission. Let me ask Sanket Yanagi, the moot
just one
point
line,
is...
Zakka, Dr. Ambedkar also supported UCC. He supported abolition of these religion-specific personnel laws.
Okay, let me ask Sanket Yanagi, for succession, for example, in this country, Hindu women are entitled to share of ancestral property. Muslim women are entitled only to 1/8 of share of ancestral property. Christian women were not entitled to share of ancestral property until Mary Roy went to the Supreme Court and challenged that, and the Supreme Court, ruled favorably. Why should women of different faiths have different succession laws in this country? Divorce laws, for example, for all religions, the period of reconciliation is one year. For Christian women, it is 2 years. In the case of Muslim women, a Muslim woman cannot go to court and seek a divorce on grounds that the husband has more than one wife. Why? Why this discrimination? If you have divorce and marriage and succession laws in this country, it should be the same for everybody.
First of all, there are two questions in my personal opinion. Number one, whether the Uniform Civil Code is necessary for a country like India, which is known for diversified cultures, number one. Number two, if so, which are all the points which need to be taken care of? Maybe Article 48 specifying as a part of the directive principles of state policy to have a common or uniform civil code. But what are to be taken care of, and what are all the important aspects that should not be violated in the guise of having a code? Those are also the points which need to be taken care of. Now, first is, one cannot have law just like that because they are building or they have their majority numbers. There need to be a legal consultation with the aggrieved parties or the stakeholders. There need to be a wide consultation which is required, number one. Number two, the age of marriage differs from community to community. That needs to be addressed.
How does, I mean, I don't get it. If the age of getting a driver's license, the age to vote is all the same, then why should the age of marriage differ from community to community? It makes no sense.
They are governed by the personal laws. That needs to be addressed now in a
So that's exactly what I'm saying. If drinking age is uniform, voting age is uniform, driving age is uniform, marriageable age should also be uniform. I mean, it's common sense.
No, that is not just that. That needs to be addressed scientifically as well. Number two.
Scientifically?
Number three.
No, one second. Why scientifically? Like, what is anatomically different in Hindu girls as opposed to Muslim girls as opposed to Christian girls? What is scientific about having different ages for each of these women for marriage?
There may be some scientific reason for which they might have incorporated those provisions.
No. What is the scientific reason? Give me one.
That is how I cannot say it here over the TV debate. That is how I'm saying stakeholders must be involved in a consultation process. They will be in a better position to explain.
So let me ask Tariq Khan, do you know of any scientific reason why marriage age for Muslims, Christians, Hindus is all different when they're all given driver's license at 18, they're all given voting rights at 18?
Let me give you one illustration. That should be equal
under the Hindu law,
because that should be on the basis of biological factors, and that should be a matured level to have certain things. Means there should be a age for the girls to be married. Means it should be equal to all. There should be no discrimination amongst the religion.
No,
but
similarly,
we have to look at the different level. What means we have to look at the tribals, means what will do that.
No, but Mr. Khan, no, you agree that marriageable age should be the same for all women across religions. One second.
It should be.
Now, can you also please tell me why then options for divorce, options for succession should not be the same for women across religions?
You can be, means everybody is ready to debate. Everybody is ready to debate. Let's have a debate. What would be how you will implement it? You will implement it in fractions, in a divided way. Means how it will be uniform as it is divided already in Uttarakhand. It is divided in Goa as well. A woman who's not giving birth to a baby boy, the husband will get advantage to have another marriage. Now, what is this? This is uniformity. You are talking about uniformity. You are talking about polygamy. It would be different for tribal. It would be different for Hindus.
Let Tuin Sinha and then Aman Sinha respond to it. Yeah, Tuin Sinha. I mean, first of all, you are having exceptions for tribals. Then you have exceptions now. You are saying only BJP ruled states will do it. How then is it a uniform civil code across the country?
No, Zakka, they don't understand that the exception for tribals is because of the constitutional safeguards provided to tribals by way of Schedule 5 and Schedule 6 of the Constitution. But the same constitutional safeguard is not provided on the basis of religion. They need to understand, they need to read up the Constitution. Zakka, we have lost two golden opportunities. One, when the Hindu Marriage Act was introduced in 1955, that should have been the ideal opportunity to introduce UCC. And number two, in the mid-1980s, in the Shah Bano case, when Rajiv Gandhi turned over a judgment of the Supreme Court denying a measly 180 rupees to a poor Muslim woman. I think, we have lost two golden opportunities. This government believes in transformative politics. This government believes in taking the country ahead, and we will ensure that UCC comes into existence. But yes, like I said, the operationalization of it will be in a different way. So states will be taking the lead over here, leading and paving the way for unanimity at the national
Aman
level.
Sinha, you know, critics of the UCC argue that
sir.
it could infringe upon fundamental rights that are guaranteed under Article 25 of the Constitution, which is the freedom to practice, profess, propagate one's own religion. The argument is that the state, especially in a secular state, the state cannot be seen as interfering in personal laws, which could be seen as an infringement on religious practices.
Zakka, actually, the legal argument is to the contrary, because it will ensure the enforcement of fundamental rights as enshrined under Article 14, the right to equality, equal protection of laws, and under Article 15, which is prohibition of discrimination on grounds of religion, on grounds of caste, creed, and sex, etc. So therefore, this goes towards the enforcement of fundamental rights. As far as religious practices are concerned, Zakka, there is no tinkering with any essential religious practice, and therefore there is no impinging on Article 25 of the Constitution, Zakka. And as you know, these questions have been examined thoroughly by the Supreme Court of India on not one but 11 occasions, as Home Minister Amit Shah also stated on floor of the House. And on each and every time, actually, Supreme Court has asked the Union government as to what steps have been taken for the implementation. As on consultation process, the consultations have been going since past 75 years and more, from the time when our Constituent Assembly was in vogue, in force, and through the years, whether it was in various judicial pronouncements and subsequently before various forums. So there has been enough consultation. Now, the model of implementation, the other question that you were referring to, Zakka, the fact is that all these subjects, they are in concurrent list of the Constitution of Article of 7th Schedule, and therefore the Union Legislature as well as the State Legislature is competent to enact on these subjects. Now, as far as these subjects are concerned, once now Uttarakhand Uniform Civil Code is implemented, we will all have our own learnings. It will be widely debated, discussed, and if there are any evolution, any improvements which are required to be met, it will be met. But let us not run away from the fact, let us not take from the fact that it is a big step towards ending discrimination of women and children, which is an affront to Article 15 of the Constitution. It will go towards the proper implementation and ensuring that Article 14 of the Constitution is implemented in letter and spirit, and people have equal protection of laws. It will go towards upholding the secular character of the Indian state, which is enshrined in the preamble of Constitution. It will go towards providing justice, social, economic, and otherwise to the citizens of India as enshrined in the Constitution of India. Therefore, is a major historic step in the right direction, and I think all right-minded citizens, all citizens would wholeheartedly support this.
We'll leave it at that. Let's see how this plays out, because now it's clear that it's going to be beyond the realm of Parliament. It's going to be in the realm of state legislatures that the Uniform Civil Code will be initially brought in, particularly in BJP-ruled states.